Now that we've examined the nuts and bolts of English syntactic structure, let's look at how this knowledge can help in the classroom. As previously mentioned, complex sentences are an important aspect of academic writing and increased reading comprehension. As the structure of clauses in these longer complex sentences are the same as the structure of simple sentences, people acquiring English do not need to acquire new syntactic structure, they need to learn how to combine the language. This learning process can be easily witnessed. Beginning writers start by using only simple sentences. As their linguistic skills improve, they produce compound sentences by using coordinate conjunctions like and to link ideas. Finally, they learn to create complex sentences by subordinating ideas and signifying relationships among ideas by utilizing the appropriate subordinate conjunction. To cultivate this ability and assist learning writers as they build their skills, an activity called sentence combining can be used. In this activity, students are given a number of short sentences from which they must create one longer sentence that combines all the ideas from the given simple sentences. In addition to helping students become proficient writers, those who take a socio-psycholinguistic view of reading assert that knowledge of syntax plays an important component of developing reading skills as well. Proficient readers use knowledge of syntactic structures to predict or substitute words while reading for increased comprehension. For example, if a proficient reader is given a nonsensical phrase, such as, "A fev was larsing 2 sleks," knowledge of English syntax structure helps to make some sense of it. First, a fev must be the noun phrase as it begins with the determiner a, signaling fev must function as the noun. Next, was is obviously the auxiliary verb, signaling that the verb phrase larsing 2 sleks must follow. Finally, 2 sleks must be the object, or the optional noun phrase that is part of the verb phrase due to the fact that the qualifier 2 predicts that a noun will follow. That prediction is confirmed with the inflectional s at the end of sleks. While the lack of semantic information does not allow the reader to extract meaning from the preceding nonsensical phrase, it does illustrate the predictive powers of understanding the structure of sentences. In real-life situations, where the reader may encounter only 1 or 2 unfamiliar words in context, the ability to predict or substitute may help the reader figure it out. Taking the predictive powers of understanding English language structure to the next level is the idea of lexical syntax, which refers to understanding how a word functions in a sentence and what words will follow. In the English language, verbs are especially important to this process, as certain types of verbs can indicate what types of words will follow. Take these 3 sentences. The boy went to the water slides, Billy put the receipt in his wallet, and I gave my sister a present. In the first sentence, a form of the verb go is present. This verb is usually followed by a prepositional phrase that indicates a location, also known as a locative. As to the water slides follows, this is consistent. In the second sentence, the verb put is present. This verb is usually followed by an object, the receipt, and a locative, his wallet. Finally, the third sentence illustrates that the verb give is commonly followed by 2 objects due to the fact that people give something to someone. In this example, it would be my sister and a present. Some proficient readers may state that they do not know these rules but are still good readers. This is due to the fact that these predictions usually occur subconsciously during the reading process, and whether or not they are aware of it, good readers are indeed using lexical syntax knowledge to predict as they read. Conversely, struggling readers often focus on individual words, losing flow of the structure of the passage, and missing cues that help construct meaning from the text. An activity that helps students access these syntactic cues and gain the skills of being able to predict while they read is the close procedure. Seen here, the teacher presents a passage from which words are deleted, and the students must supply those missing words. In constructing the passage to use during the procedure, the teacher removes words targeted at building specific predictive skills. For example, a teacher may delete the adjectives that precede nouns or the subordinate conjunctions if that is what he or she feels the class needs to work on. Let's listen in on this teacher for a minute.
In this spot, and I'm just going to get a word wallet out so you can have a look and decide from our selection of words which word should go in that spot. So, We have feed, we have give birth, we have defend, the surface, and migrate.
As you can see, this closed procedure lesson is being presented to the entire class together. However, a variety of presentational formats can and should be used. Try individual work, small group work, or even have the students prepare passages for other students. For more examples, ideas, and exercises, check out Deborah Goodman's 1999 book, The Reading Detective Club. In addition to being valuable in teaching reading and writing skills, studies of syntax have also influenced strategies in teaching a second language. Let's look at two syntax-influenced strategies, the ALM or audiolingual method and content-based language teaching. The audiolingual method, based on behaviorist psychology and structural linguistics, implements dialogue and drills that incorporate basic sentence patterns. The four most common drills are as follows. The simplest drill asks for students to correctly place target words into a sentence slot. For example, the teacher would state a sentence such as, "This is a pencil," while holding up a pencil. Then, the teacher would pick up another object like a book and point to a student. The student's expected response would be, "That is a book." The next common ALM drill teaches and reinforces transformation patterns. For this drill, the teacher would state a sentence and have the students transform it. Such transformations can include, but are not limited to, turning the phrase into a question, changing it into a negative sentence, or placing the nouns with pronouns. The third common ALM drill involves using correct verb tenses. In this drill, a sentence with various prompts that require a change in a verb tense is given. For example, the sentence, "Anne is studying her history lesson now," is given. Then the prompts, "every day" and "yesterday" are given. The students are expected to respond with, "Anne studies her history lesson every day," and "Anne studied her history lesson yesterday." This exercise requires students to use the appropriate tenses as the prompt changes. The final common drill found in ALM addresses word order. In this drill, phrases that create a complete sentence are given to students out of order. The students must take those phrases and rearrange them to create grammatically acceptable sentences. Initially, ALM seemed to be a great step forward in language acquisition as it greatly contrasted earlier grammar instruction in that it presents syntax inductively. However, while ALM and other methods based on linguistic analysis may seem to be a good approach, implementation and results have shown that students have great trouble learning a language through these methods. The first reason is that it assumes that a language is learned, not acquired. As a result, ALM focuses on following language patterns, ignoring whether or not the students understand the meaning of the words and sentences. This focus on form over meaning blocks acquisition, as people acquire language when they receive and transmit messages they understand. Second, ALM focuses on memorizing features and patterns of surface-level language through repetition. Yet language acquisition is not developed by simply imitating people's surface structure language. Instead, rules must be developed for creating deep structure language and also how to manipulate them to generate surface structure language. This allows comprehension and production of new language, not just that which has already been previously encountered. The currently more accepted second language teaching method is content-based language teaching. This method, based on the acquisition model for language development, organizes the curriculum around themes and teaches academic language through sheltering the content with strategies that scaffold the instruction and address the 5 greatest syntactic difficulties English learners have with academic English. These challenges are the use of passive voice, which shifts the focus away from the person doing the action and towards the action itself. Separated comparative and logical connectors such as if, then, and, not only, but. And finally, modals such as should or would that indicate subtle shades of meaning. Although these challenging aspects occasionally occur in conversational language, they are common in academic language and therefore a huge part in bridging the gap between BICS and CALP level English proficiency. While English syntax is an intricate system that can be daunting to learn, in truth, proficient speakers usually acquire these rules subconsciously and could not honestly explain why one sentence is more acceptable than another. Such explanations would most likely boil down to,
"It just sounds right."
However, a basic understanding of syntax is beneficial to teachers as it influences and informs language teaching strategies and methods. whether the goal is to teach language or simply make the classroom a better learning environment for English language learners.